Today we're joined by a buddy of ours, Bobby Landgraf. Bobby is a musician here in Austin, Texas, a great guitar player in his own right. You may know him from his time in Down with Phil Anselmo from Pantera, and he's currently out with Pantera. He works as Rex Brown's bass tech, and he recently started a YouTube channel called Crew from Hell 2.0. You need to go check it out. It's awesome. Bobby takes us behind the scenes and shows you what it's like to set up an arena-sized gig, a stadium-sized gig. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than the shows he's doing, and it's very insightful stuff that he's showing on his channel. And there's a sense of humor that follows it throughout because it's Bobby, right? So we've known Bobby for a long time. We've had him on the show before, but today he's here to talk about his time touring the stadiums and the arenas of the world with Pantera.
He's a joker. He's a toker. He's a midnight smoker. Bobby Landgraf is a one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who gets to spend time with him and understand his vernacular, his vocabulary,
Yes.
and his entire silly mind is a very lucky person. He's got a giant heart. He's just the sweetest guy. And today he kind of tells us all how he sort of big-mouthed his way into the gigs that he's gotten. Because
His word.
And he's just gotten good at the whole thing, and he's widely respected.
Yes.
He's worked for some big names. He's actually, working with people that have been doing it on much higher levels than him. Well, that's hard to. I'm choking on that because Bobby's toured with by default as a bass tech for Dusty Hill on the ZZ Top tour. No, this was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's high level, and you can't be a fuck up, So I think that it's things like that have given him the pedigree, not just a great guitar player, sound man, engineer, producer, songwriter.
Yeah.
But it's those things on top of him being able to do all of those things are kind of what put him in that place, because he met a lot of the right people, and they understood him, they got him, and they hired him.
Yeah.
Because he's just being Bobby all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's the kind of gigs that he really needed a, quote, resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. His experience speaks for itself. You've known him forever. I've known him for quite a long time, and he's always been behind a soundboard, whether it's the Continental Club or producing bands or recording stuff and playing. He's got a band called Honky. He played with you in a band called Godzilla Motor Company. He played with Lee.
During those times, the GMC stuff and the early Honky stuff, that's when I really, recording Godzilla Motor Company stuff is when I really learned, and he'd been doing it the whole time. It was when I really learned about, he's an onion, that he has all these different layers and things that he can do. And he has his hats that he wears well, you know what I mean? And he won't try to wear a hat that he doesn't know that he can wear.
Yeah.
Like the stories that he tells, he'll say yes, but then he has to do some homework. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, because if you know Bobby, he's going to get the job done, and they'll call on him again to do the same job as needed. And he'll have to do the same thing. He'll have to go do a little bit of homework, but he's going to kick ass and get the job done. So seeing him glow and put these vids together of his, past travels over the past couple of years, and actually have a little YouTube channel that's actually blowing up right now as we speak.
Yeah.
In such a short time. Dave, I think it was an excellent idea for you to have him as a guest to talk about this and just kind of catch up again with Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Important.
It was a no-brainer, man. He's a great guy. We love him to death. And I mean, his channel is amazing. So it was a no-brainer to have him back to talk about it a little bit and give us a little more insight than what we get from his channel. And we got to ask him about the time he actually got to fill in for his boss. Bobby actually played with Pantera in front of 60, 70, 80,000 people in Santiago, Chile.
Yeah, yeah, they need to go search that video. But they should watch this episode and learn about it, and learn to get to know Bobby a little bit, and then do some research on Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure to have him. Bobby Landgraf today on the Talk Louder podcast.